you receive. Okay, you know we've been working on parables, right?
Yes. Right.
Have you been enjoying them?
Yes.
We're taking a little bit of a metaphysical look at some of the parables in our world, some of the ones we've grown up with. And so, you know, a parable is an earthly story that has a heavenly meaning. Okay then, we're going to start with a parable about the good servant, but I do want to start with a parable about the not so good servant. So, we're in the Aquarian Gospel. This is 158. I think we're starting verse 10. Okay. A man went to a distant land and left his house and all his wealth in the care of servants. 5 to guard his house, 5 to guard the barns and herds. The servants waited long for his return, but he came not. And then they grew careless in their work. Some spent their time in revelings and drunkenness. Some slept at their posts. And night by night the robbers came and carried off the wealth from the house and the barn, and drove away the choicest of the herds. And when they knew that much of all the wealth they were to guard had been taken, they said, "We cannot be blamed for this. For if we had known the day and hour when our Lord would have come, we would have guarded his wealth, and suffered not the thieves to carry it away. He surely is at fault because he told us not." Okay. We'll hold on the rest of the story for a moment. So, what we're going to do is start looking at, do you remember the parable? Okay. Lovingly remember the parable?
Yes.
It's a parable that's been used kind of to make you feel
Bad.
Guilty responsible.
something like that.
Bad.
Guilt.
So, let's look at it metaphysically. Okay, the man is the master. The master represents, he's the owner. So he's the provider for the whole household. He's the protector. He is the authority over their world, and his consciousness is one of prosperity. He has herds, he's got barns, he's got good stuff going on. He is a creator. The servants, and both these are men energies, so it's a doing aspect. The servants represent a doing aspect of maintaining. They are maintaining, and as they maintain, the master provides for. As they maintain, they are provided for. As the master left, and he called his 10 servants, and he goes, "Okay, guys, I'm taking off. So I need you to guard this, guard that, guard that." The servants, you can just see them in your mind going, "Really? More work to do?" And they probably looked at it like, really, because what are they doing? They're waiting for him to return. So do we not know that they're looking at this as another added burden? But when we look at the master's eyes, how is he looking at it? He's looking at saying, "Guys, I gotta go, and I want you to watch my wealth." He is demonstrating extreme trust and value and honor to the servants. Do the servants see it? No. How often do you? When someone comes to you and says, "I would really love for you to do this for me," and you go, "Oh, really? Oh, God, I don't know how to do that." Instead of looking through their eyes, they have picked you because they see something in you. Because they're asking you to do something for them that's dear to them. Do you see? Perspective. That's a side note. We'll move on. So we have these servants that are taking on this burden, this responsibility, and we have the master, the provider, the creator, the prosperity consciousness, who is on a mission. He's gone. Okay, so let's look at what the servants do. First, they do what they normally do. They're okay for a couple of weeks. You know, they just get up and do what they do. And then someone says, "I've been eyeballing this bottle of wine. It looks really good. It's just perfect." And then someone else says, "Yeah, we could kill the fatted calf and let's have a party. What party? It won't hurt anything." Can you imagine? So they go in and they have a party. Is there guilt with the party? No, we've been working hard. We deserve some extra stuff. We deserve a little extra. But then over time, they begin to take the wealth that is there. It says some of them go into consuming the wine too much. Some of them go into sleeping at their post too much. Do you understand? So over time, this consuming of the wealth becomes more habitual rather than the party. And then one of them wakes up and says, there's no one in charge here. I think we should all be in charge. Do whatever you want to do. And at that point, the gate is open. The thieves come in, take whatever they want, because it doesn't matter. I know you don't relate to this yet. When those people come to the point where they waited and waited and the master does not return, and they decide no one's in charge, so we shall be, they have now taken the power. When the servant maintaining energy takes the power, how much prosperity is there? None. So they can't hold the master's consciousness, can they? And when they take the power and they're taking of stuff that is not theirs, it opens the door for others. Come on in, thieves. We're doing it. It opens the door for others to take what is not theirs. Do you see? So we have this whole big energy. A whole big energy of these servants. They know how to do their job. They know how to do some of the master's job. But because the directive is gone, the ideal is gone, the master is gone, far away, it's not visible, they give up their job and they give into these distractions, these carnal distractions. Do you understand? Can you think of examples in your world?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody okay with that?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody stuck? I can give you examples. Okay, good. When you take what is not yours, your action becomes blocked and you feel lost. You understand? When you take what is not yours, your action, your forward action, what is yours to do, even if you're just a maintainer, you become blocked and you become lost because you're no longer in the flow of what you are designed to do. And then, here we go. They're lost and the master returns and they say to him, it's your fault. It is your fault for leaving us in charge. It is your fault for taking your prosperity consciousness away and letting us take all your stuff and lose it. You should never have trusted us. It's all your fault.
You never see the part about trust.
Yeah.
No.
So, if you see yourself as a servant, guess what you need? You need a master. If you see yourself as a servant in any way, you need a master. You need someone telling you what's up because you need no responsibility. A servant needs a master and a maintainer needs a creator. If you're going to be a maintainer, what are you maintaining but something that's been created? Do you understand? So if you're maintaining, and some people are maintainers, kind of, in your jobs. I had a maintaining job. Accounting is one of the most maintaining jobs you can ever do in your life. Somebody else is creating all the fun out there, and I'm nickel and diming their results. Okay, that's maintaining. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maintainers need creators. So, now we need to look at it a little differently. Ready? Have you followed it all so far?
Mm-hmm.
Is this fun?
Yes.
Do you love this stuff?
We love this.
Okay. Now we're going to look at it a little bit more metaphysically. Your master, the master, is your higher self. It's the part of you that holds your spiritual path and your dreams. It's that part of you that provides. It's still one with God. It's got prosperity. It's got the plan. It's got the vision. That higher self has all of that. And the servant is the part of you that maintains that higher self plan, the part of you that gets up every single morning and goes forth and does what you're supposed to do to maintain the higher self's plan. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So, what happens is, when the higher self looks at you, the maintainer servant, when your higher self says, you got this. I gotta go, I'm gonna do something, but I got something, but I want you to, you got this. I'm gonna give this to you. What typically we do as maintainers, we go, oh, I got it, God. I got it. And then our ego comes up. And our ego goes, we got this. I can do this. And then, the longer the communication with higher self is gone, the more present is that ego. And it's got it. I got it. I got it. So, we've all been there. When we get this great divine idea, and that higher self is talking to us, and we go, oh gosh, we got it, that's cool. And then, it ebbs. And then we're getting up every day and we're going. And then we're doing our meditations and they're not quite so deep. We're not getting quite the insights. And we're not getting the what to do's yet. And we're still busy in our world. And then we kind of get off on the energy. And then what do? We get distracted by a lot of things. And then I know pretty soon you forget your directive. And then pretty soon you're eating and consuming all the wealth that you currently have created with your higher self. Because you can't get it anymore. You're tapping the till, using stuff that's supposed to be used for something else in your world, and you're consuming it, and then you find yourself lost. Then some of us do what I would call, I don't use the word stupid very often. Stupid is a word that means you know better. You know how to. And you choose not to. Or you choose to do something that you know better. We start blaming God. I call that, it's when we go into our silly self, our little silly self, stupid self. We start saying, everything that I'm experiencing now, my loss of wealth, my loss of this, my loss of that, that divine idea that never happened, God, how could you let this happen to me? People call me all the time, how could the universe have let this happen? Well, let's back up and let's dialogue with your thoughts and ideas and what you've been doing. But yet we go instinctively to blame because we are not responsible for the consumption of the wealth that we have not done. Ego does not like to take responsibility. Should I say that again? When ego takes the power, it does not take responsibility. Got it? Why does ego not take responsibility? Because ego does nothing wrong. Why should it take responsibility for something that went wrong? It doesn't do anything wrong. There's always a reason for what it does. It can always justify itself. It's always right. Even if the world is a disaster around it falling at its feet, ego says, hey, not my job. I did what I was supposed to do. Universe, you need to handle this. You see? So, we need to get you to the bottom line of this. When a servant maintains the ideal, they're going to be in alignment with the higher self. When a servant gets into that ego reckoning, they're always going to go offline. This is what Jesus said. It's in Luke. Listen carefully. 17:7. This one you haven't heard often because they don't focus on this one too much. Okay? Now, which of you has a servant who plows or feeds sheep, and if he should come from the field, would say to him, oh, come on in and sit down? But he would rather say unto him, come on in, prepare something that I can eat, and gird yourself and serve me until I eat and drink, and then you can also eat and drink afterwards. In other words, when your servant comes in, you don't say to the servant, oh, come on in, sit down, and I'll take care of you. Servant comes in, and you go, okay, I'm ready for food. Servant feeds you, then the servant eats. Then he says, and I'm reading it directly, what? Will the servant receive praise because he did what he was commanded to do? I do not think so. Isn't that cute? I do not think so. I love it. Will the servant receive praise from the master for what he was commanded to do? I don't think so. When our ego self is even on the path of the divine and then turns to the divine and says, now praise me or I will blame you. Love me or I'm going to step away from you. Do you know what I'm saying? That maintainer self of ours, that ego self of ours, when it's working with our higher self, has to become in alignment, not seeking praise because they're right and they do a good job. Did everybody got that?
Yes.
Okay. Do your job. The ego is here to really navigate matter. So do your job, do well what you do, and stay in alignment with the higher self. Do not do your job, do well what you do, and then look to your higher self for praise or to blame the higher self. Simple, right? Okay, so we're now to the question. Why does the master go away? Why does the master go away? Why do we have time when we can't feel our spirit? We can't get the guidance, and we have to hold on to our dreams with gritted teeth. Do you know those moments? You've got the great idea and you're holding on with gritted teeth. Things are rocking and rolling around you, and you just can't feel that connection with spirit. The rest of the story, this is Luke 12, 42 through 44. This is the rest of the faithful story. This is the good servant. Who is the faithful and wise steward whom his master will appoint over his household to give supplies in due time? Blessed is that servant whom when his master comes will find him doing so. Truly I say to you that he will appoint him over all his wealth. Why does the master leave? The master has prosperity consciousness. The master is a creator. The master is the proprietor and provider for all of his dominion. When he leaves his trusted servants in charge. Who does he expect to meet upon his return? A master. He expects that all of these servants will have risen to become masters because he wants to give them his wealth. But he cannot give them wealth if they are maintainers, if they are just servants. He cannot give them what he owns. But he provides a space for them to grow their consciousness so that when he returns, they have now seen themselves as creator, as master, taking care of all the problems of the estate, handling everything daily, growing daily in what it means to be master of the estate. Because in truth, that's what he left them as, masters of the estate. But when he comes home and sees that they've left everything to whoever wants it, he finds mere servants. And you know what happens if your higher self comes back and you have not been faithful to the ideal that you were working toward? It's that thing of going backwards. Sometimes it takes us years to recoup the years that we spend in not following our guidance. When we have that wakened moment and the higher self comes and says, remember the dream we were working on 2 years ago? And you go, yeah, it's kind of gotten stolen now. And the higher self goes, well, we got to get you back on track. We got to get money back in the bank account because you've squandered it all. We've got to get you back in the proper relationship because you screwed that up too. You've been through 3 jobs since then. We've got to get you a good job now. And it will take several years to regroup back to the level of consciousness that you were when you were in connection with your higher self. We see this all the time when people they'll come to church, and I'm sure they come to all churches this way. They'll come to church, they'll get excited. I'm excited. Spirit, yay, I love it. Because when you feel that, oh my God, it's amazing. You feel God, so excited. My dreams are manifesting. I'm moving. I'm doing great. I got it, God. Off you go. Out to the world. Doing your world stuff. And slowly, the memory of the master wanes. You forget. The meditation wasn't that good. Well, I just won't do it today. Yeah, it wasn't that good. Okay. Pretty soon, you're not meditating. Pretty soon, the big dream that you had has gotten lost in the distractions of your daily activity. I got it, I'm right, and if anything goes wrong, you can think back to that church you went to and blame God, blame that church. These teachings don't work. Darn it. I'm glad I'm not going there anymore. And then there'll be an awakening. Just a moment, just a moment when the higher self knocks on the head and says, hey, remember the dream? Got a little off track, didn't we? Remember the dream? And you go, oh yeah, I remember the dream. Every one of us has had this moment because we're human. And until we become divine, we're going to continue having these moments.
So that's the good news.
That's the good news. The good news is we are all masters in training. The good news when you don't get your guidance, when you cannot hear that download, not to get off track. Hold the light. And there's a little part of you that never leaves. It's a part of your intuition that no matter what download you're getting, it's always with you. And they called it, it's that part of you that knows, oh, I know better, I know better. There's that little voice within you, even when you're not getting your downloads, that you know better. You know better. And when we're off on that distracted route, and we're doing our stuff in the world, and we get this little voice, yeah. You know what we try to do? We try to put the little voice to sleep. Go to sleep, no better voice. We don't need you. You're good. You're good. And I remember in my youth, when I was doing what young people do, very well, I might add. And I had been quite a metaphysical child. I mean, I loved God with all my heart and soul, and I had been metaphysical up into my early 20s. And then, you get involved and you forget that higher self. And I remember my grandmother died. And I loved her. Never saw her very often, but loved her dearly. She was so dear to me. And I was sitting there in my life, and I went, oh. I could feel her spirit talking to me, and she just came and loved me. Gave me a big hug. She didn't go, what the heck are you doing? She just loved me, gave me a hug, and I went, oh God, I got to get back on track. I know this stuff. And for I'd say maybe 4 years of being caught in distractions, it took me probably 5 to 6 years to regroup my ground. 5 to 6 years to regroup my ground. But isn't it great we have all eternity in which to play? Yes. We have all eternity. And then once I regrouped, just kept on going. But I never stepped out of that path for me again, even though I could not see how it was going to happen. But I trusted the master, that vision within me. I trusted that master to get up every day and do what was in front of me, knowing that what was in front of me was somehow taking me closer to the vision that I had been given of my life. This beautiful energy of becoming a master. Sometimes it's work. Sometimes it's just work. Okay. In Jesus, Teacher, and Healer, I just wanted to share just a very quick comment. You know how sometimes you just hit something and it's like, yeah, it's good. They're talking about, it's difficult because people look at what Jesus did and they look at what the masters are doing, they look at the miracles of life and they go, that's them, not me. That's too far for me. And they said it's difficult for man to reach up and respond to the divine spirit when he's imprisoned in hard rock of earthly materialism. Until his spirit man understands the law of God and works in harmony with it, until he has attained a degree of self-discipline, his whole being will be unbalanced. And we are masters of unbalance. We love unbalanced. Gives us something to do. I just solved another problem, yay me. And we're very comfortable here. But the God in you will only be developed and brought through to full capacity by your own effort. And the God in you is harmony. The God in you is love. The God in you is peace. And it's a beautiful creator. It loves creating. It loves expressing the God in you. Our behavior in the world has to resonate to the point that we can house our own spirit. Our behavior in the world has to resonate to the point that we can house the Christ, where we can say yes to our dreams and our spiritual nature and not disregard this in our attitudes. Because we will say yes to God and go out and slap somebody. Energetically, I mean, we're not literally hitting people, but energetically. This mind has to think love first. This body has to express love first. This vehicle has to become so dedicated to life that it can house fully the master at all times, your higher self, your life. It's a good parable, isn't it? Yes. It's the parable of the master meeting another master. Never heard it that way, have you? No. So where's our guilt? Not here.
No.
Not here. It's a parable about a master meeting a master. So you ready? Let's anchor it in. Take a breath. Put your feet on the floor. And just breathe and feel a beautiful light come over you. And as you see this light, I want you to just become aware of your physical body and the vibration. Become aware of the emotional body, the mental body. And you don't even have to understand what I'm saying. You'll feel different vibrations moving through you. Some are heavier than others. But you can feel some of these vibrations are packed with a bunch of thoughts, a bunch of energy. It's not clear, it's not pristine. It's not harmonious even. And now I'll call forth and see your spiritual body. See that beautiful light of your spirit. Your spirit is pristine. Your spirit is pristine. So take a breath and breathe your spirit through all those bodies. Breathe your spirit through the physical, the emotional, the mental. And see the light just beginning to move through. Feel yourself being elevated. And I want you to realize there is an ease that moves through these energies, an ease of bringing your spiritual nature into the other aspects of self. An expansion. It doesn't have to be a problem. It can be an ease. And breathe. Father, Mother God, we ask that each of our Christed natures descend into our bodies. I ask that my Christed nature descend fully within my body now. And feel the joy and the welcome. Feel that you are one with this Spirit. You have a spiritual body that welcomes your spiritual nature. And breathe in your heart. I am ready to be the master I am. I am ready to be that spiritual being that Jesus Christ taught us of. Feel it as you claim it moving through your body. Feel the great peace. And Father, Mother God, we love you so. I ask that the journey with everyone present and everyone who hears this service, that their journey become easy and light. That they feel that connection. That they listen for that no better voice. And that they trust, even when they cannot feel you, that you are there. This is my prayer, God. And I thank you that it is done. Breathe, open your heart, send love into the room. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. So now you know why I asked that they sing Dream today. I've been searching. I've been doing what I need to do. And I'm looking for the seeds I've sown. I've been working all along and I haven't given up. And now the garden's growing, dispelling the darkness, because I kept working, holding my vision on the dreams. Did y'all get that out of the lyrics? Mm-hmm. So, this week I give you no homework, because this is a choice-activated experience. If you choose, make conscious effort to seek the divine within you and speak nothing that would hinder that. Only if you choose. Say, yay, God.
Yeah.
There it is.